of concern, they will be looking that it should not be there. They will try and not give in to the seeking of dual high-tech technology that India is seeking. So he will be trying to do all these from his side.
But the question arises, sir, this is what Obama would desire.
Yes.
But now that he's weakened, do you think he will be able to draw that leverage, or India would have the upper hand?
Well, again, it has to go back to what I said earlier, the problem that America is facing. America is virtually bankrupt, so to speak. Its expenditure at home, its defense expenditure outside, aging population, demand on the healthcare, etc., etc., is causing it. It is limiting its outreach policies abroad. And they're looking for partnership to be a dominant partner in the region. And one feels that, according to them, India fills the bill very well. As far as their rivalry, I would use the word, against China is concerned, Indian ambition in the region, Indians' huge market that is there.
Let's come to that a little later, so if we just hold that thought.
Yes.
There's one aspect I want to touch with you, sir. The commencement of the Obama trip hasn't taken place as yet, but already there are stories in the United States newspapers as well as in the Indian newspapers that, for example, US is to spend $200 million a day on Obama's Mumbai visit, because there is a 3,000 member entourage, the security aspect and all. For a cash-strapped nation, the ambassador just pointed out about their economic crunch, they are willing to spend that much. And of course, the visit to Mumbai and staying at the Taj Hotel is very symbolic. Your thoughts on that, sir?
Very, very correctly observed. This huge money, when spent, like the ambassador very rightly pointed out, they will want something in return. And in that, they would want more investment. They would want India to buy their aeroplanes and not the Su-35s or the Russian aeroplanes, which is a huge amount of money. Two, further investments, and like the ambassador mentioned, less of outsourcing of work to India so that there are more jobs available over there. Of course, the Republicans have always been pro-India relatively and relatively anti-Pakistan. So when Obama goes there to negotiate, probably if we recall the Rumsfeld days, when Rumsfeld went for a visit to India, they had sent a non-paper which came in, which was printed in India Today. This is about 10 years back, which said, give us training bases and you police the Indian Ocean on our behalf, right from Straits of Malacca to Straits of Hormuz. That's a possibility that will come up. But of course, the civilian nuclear technology deal, which is meant for India, they will be assured that, look, we are giving it to you in return for this, this, and this, and that means they will not give it to us. There will be more pressure on Obama not to give it to us. When India wants more inclusion in Afghanistan, there are greater chances of success now, because the Republicans will support that to our detriment. And then, of course, on the K word, you very aptly said, and the ambassador
Let's come to that a little later. I want to have your opinion, sir, on the symbolism of Mumbai, because Mumbai was
huge.
The venue of the Mumbai attack, and we have been blamed for that.
Absolutely.
David Coleman, Lashkar-e-Toiba, Ajmal Kasab, all these are going to haunt us again, and
Absolutely.
we will be reminded, and pressure will be built upon us.
And the pressure is going to be built up for us to deliver on the anti-terror, counter-terrorism measures that India and America wants taken in this part of the world. David Headley thing has gradually gained momentum to our detriment. And although he's a Hassan Abdalian, but
he was a US citizen.
He was a US citizen.
And it has been admitted that he was on a sting operation for the
Absolutely.
what do you call the drug and enforcement
agency. He was working for them. He was working for their intelligence agencies and so on and so forth. And very reluctantly, Americans gave access to David Headley, so far as the Indians are concerned. So Indians have that ammunition, which is going to be used against us. And what is going to happen? India is going to shun on the composite dialogue more and more, because now that symbolic symbol that you mentioned and the support of the Republicans, Newt Gingrich and party, they are not going to lie low. They are going to want us to deliver on one side, that is on their mission in Afghanistan and on our Af-Pak border. But in terms of India, they will support India, that when India says we don't want to talk to a Pakistan which is sponsoring terrorism, allegedly, which we are bending over backwards to make concessions to prove otherwise. I mean, when people get caught in Sargodha who are American citizens, this is a huge international problem. When it happens in India through their Mao insurgents and so on and so forth, it's a huge international problem. So India now will have a huge, big advantage when Obama goes, stays in Taj Hotel, so many $1 million a day being spent. So India will have a great advantage on this, to talk back to Pakistan, to shun on composite dialogue and so many other issues.
Right. Coming back to, sir, you mentioned China. And there have been a number of articles, and one in the New York Times on October 30th, and there's another one in The Nation, not the Pakistani Nation, but the UK one, containing China is a fool's errand, yet Obama's deal is likely to raise problems. As if, I mean, if you look at the itinerary of President Obama, he's going to India, he's going to Indonesia, and he's going to Japan, and he's going to places which have a little bit of grouse with China, as if he's trying to contain China. How do you look at that, sir?
Yes, true, but you must remember he's also been to China. And he has talked about the Chinese role in the region, and much to the chagrin of India, that it can play a greater role in South Asia and so on. Yes, this is a kind of a policy, and this is one of the major, I think, political discussions that the Indians would like to pursue.
Because if you link it, sir, the US Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, is currently in Hanoi, and there she has talked about the problems which Japan is having, which Singapore is having, and she has offered that the US is ready to mediate on behalf of these countries, which of course China has rejected.
Yes, yes, of course. Like I said, Obama had embarked on a certain policy, and that has been countered by Clinton. Not to forget also about these Spratly Islands in South China Sea. They also are being encouraged that this should be resolved. So, but at the same time, one mustn't forget that the Chinese hold the largest reserve, $2 trillion, and they have huge trade and investment with the United States of America. And, you know, as they say, those who have hold the purse strings can also call the shots. So yes, China is a major factor. India will like to play up on this policy in general of all the U.S. administration about containing China, so to speak, in a sense. It will figure, no doubt, predominantly. Perhaps you will see more statements coming up about the Tibet situation, human rights violation, etc. But substantially, I don't see that it will be a major shift of the policy between China and the United States.
Okay.
I would also like to say that you know, this is the sixth visit of a president, starting from Eisenhower's time to India. And but perhaps the only one who has done it in the first time, and all that too in the middle of the term from here, and in a weakened position like this. So although there would be a lot of it can be double-edged, it can be exploited by the India. At the same time, it will be difficult for President Obama to accede to the request as well. And maybe the K word is not going to be mentioned, but I have a feeling that he cannot ignore the fact of recent events, the Intifada and the killing of 100 innocent civilians in Kashmir.
In fact, the figure has reached 115.
Yes, and it's a Kashmir is an issue of grave violation of human rights.